How is life in UK?
It's all right. It's a bit cold now, a bit dark and cold, but I guess you can see the Christmas decorations, can't you? So it's a bit better. So it's winter pretty much. But yeah, what about there? How is it there for you?
We already had, I think, 3 or 4 snowfall.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so it's full on. Now it's for the next, I guess, a couple of months. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you practice Wim Hof breathing, but this is the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, in the cold. I'm not very good with the cold. I tried it a while ago. Sebastian and Sarah added it for the teacher training we had to do to recommended us to do it, and I just can't handle the cold yet. I need to get better at it.
You need to get better at it, and I have to say that I hated winter, and it's Wim Hof and my dog who made me love winter.
Yeah. That's nice. Yeah.
All right, so let's get started. We have a couple of people already coming live, and this will be also posted on my YouTube channel. If you wish also to post the recording later on, I'll give you the link so that everybody who is not able to attend at this time can join us at another time when it's more convenient for them. So welcome. Hi friends, hi everyone, hi BJJ yoga community and all the communities out there who are curious about yoga for BJJ, and Adam Ellis, our guest today. My name is Florence Sophia. I am your host today, and I'm a self-mastery coach, Reiki healer, and I'm also a certified yoga instructor. Very passionate about Jiu-Jitsu, the sport, the art. I've been practicing for the last 5 years, and I'm super excited to introduce you to our guest today, Adam Ellis. And I'll start by sharing your biography first, for those of you who don't know, and then we'll get into the questions, okay? So Adam Ellis has been practicing yoga for over 5 years, and through his work at Yoga for BJJ, he completing 2 kinds of training, so the 200 hours registered yoga teacher training, and also the level 1 yoga for BJJ instructor training course. Love to know more about that one. What's the difference and what you've learned. He also, as a passionate of yoga, but also passionate of Jiu-Jitsu, he's been a black belt for the last 2 years and training for 10 years, which is amazing. And over that time, he has competed on Grapple Fest, Polaris qualifiers, and last year you earned the title of British and English Open champion at adult black belt. That's amazing. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And you were the UK BJJA #1 ranked adult black belt male of 2019. Wow, amazing. Not something you could have done in 2020, but maybe a goal of yours for 2021. Right?
Yeah, I know. Hopefully we can all get back to it. But
yeah, very good.
Thank you for having me, though. It's really cool to be here. It's really nice to be here. So
thank you for joining us, and the community, I'm sure, will appreciate to hear all the great stuff you have to share with us today. And for those of you guys who don't know about Yoga for BJJ, the actual brand, it is a pioneering platform used by thousands of BJJ practitioners, and I'm sure that goes beyond that, athletes, I will say as well, which advocates yoga and its benefit for grapplers by displaying a series of programs specifically designed to help these practitioners. And I know the brand has evolved quite a bit, especially through the pandemic, so maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the brand in a bit, but I'm curious to know, what have you been doing for the last few months during the lockdown period?
So I've tried to obviously use the time wisely, I guess. So I've been streaming on the website and on the app quite a bit, which has been really fun, doing like weekly streams and things like that. We've been trying to get more content on the website, which has been cool. Yeah. And then we've done a couple of the yoga teacher courses as well, which is cool. So we've got loads of.
So this is new, right? The teacher program that has been launched, I think, the last few months. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's gone. So we did. There was one in 2019 in where was that? In London, and there's one in Mexico as well. But then obviously with everything that happened, we had to move it online. So it's brand new online, and it's a better curriculum online, to be honest. And it's really fun because we can get people to get learning the classes and the structure and things in their own time with the online curriculum, and then we get in a Zoom session with everyone, and then we work on like teaching skills and learning things like that. So that's the benefit we found there. Whereas before people would show up and learn everything, now they can kind of learn it in their own speed and practice at home before the course. So that's gone really well actually.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's been fun. What else have I done? I've been to Fight Island in Abu Dhabi with UFC a couple of times as well. So that's been really fun. I guess a lot of us can't travel at the moment, so I've been really lucky that I've been able to get over there, which has been cool.
So how are the people over there welcoming you, and what type of questions or things do they have to share with you or ask you?
Yeah, it's lovely over there. Like everyone's so nice. Like we're in like a sort of safe bubble, like a safe zone. Obviously, with everything going on, we have to be tested and stuff. So everyone over there is basically within the sort of fighting community. So it's good fun training with different people. Last time we were there, I was putting yoga classes on for some of the guys that have been training for years, and they're just broken and have never tried yoga. So
wow.
It's really fun to like introduce it to them, and the classes got busier and busier towards the end, which was good. So some of them kept it up, which is really cool. So yeah.
That's awesome. I will get more into the yoga for a minute. I will hold my thoughts there. But how did your journey take you to be more than jiu-jitsu?
So I guess just from training and looking for other ways to better myself and things like that, I guess from jiu-jitsu, it takes you other routes, doesn't it? You think, oh, how can I get better this way? You know, go to the gym, lift, or try, I guess, improve your flexibility and things like that. And then I guess just finding yoga for BJJ and Sebastian taking me on board last year. From working with Sebastian and Sarah, I've been able to get more involved with it all, and it's been awesome. So just massive opportunities from Sebastian, really, which has been really good.
Mm-hmm. And how did you meet Sebastian? Is it through training?
So I first met him. Yeah. He came to my the old academy I used to train at for a seminar years ago, and I'd been training a little while, like yoga for BJJ, but not that consistently. And the seminar was just so good. Like he rolled with everyone at the end, which is not normally what happens at a jiu-jitsu seminar, is it? Usually kind of whoever's teaching the seminar, like they don't want to roll with everyone because that'll take forever. But Sebastian just got involved, and I was injured at the time, and he talked me through the injury and gave me the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got more on board with it there. And just I guess over time, just meeting him a couple more times, and then just started working for him, which is awesome.
Amazing.
It's been really good.
So you've met probably, people from all walks of life through the jiu-jitsu and the yoga.
Mm-hmm.
What does that represent to you, and what has been the biggest learning?
So I think that the biggest learning curve for me is like people that are passionate about something, they're going to try and improve in that. No matter what it is that they're passionate about, if they care enough about it, they're going to be willing to put the time in and try new things, which I think is why yoga for BJJ and yoga in general is getting more popular, because people are seeing the benefits, not just the physical side of it, a lot of the mental side of things and everything else, and the breath work and everything. Mm-hmm. People are slowly beginning to learn how beneficial it is and see the results in others. So I think, just meeting other people as you travel and things, you learn that, if people care enough about something, they'll do anything to keep doing it. So that's been really exciting. Yeah.
Very nice. And as you know, of course, as I mentioned in your biography, a British and English Open champion, an athlete, and yoga practitioner. What has been your biggest growth accelerator?
Sure. I think having good people around you. Not just at training, like having friends and family that understand your goals and your training and what you want. That's massive, because those people around you support you and they want you to do well. And obviously, again, if we look at training partners, they all want to help you. And there's so many guys that I train with that are like, you know, they'll work all day hard, and then if I've got a competition coming up, they'll come down just to train with me and beat me up and think, you know, and it's great. So I think having good people around me and that'll educate me and help me improve, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because for people who don't train jiu-jitsu, it's hard to believe, you know, that the best friends are the ones that beat you most.
Yeah. We take each other unconscious constantly, but then we're all laughing and joking afterwards. Yeah, it's great fun.
Very nice. And how has your jiu-jitsu journey been? Like moving from white belt to, you know, now black belt, and finding yourself as a white belt yoga practitioner, and now, you know, moving into the black belt yoga master. How can you compare both or relate one to another, and how did, you know, what were perhaps the most memorable times of your career so far?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think starting jiu-jitsu, it's so weird, isn't it? You know, all the movements, everything you do is just so alien, and the first warm-up, you just don't have a clue, do you? And you think, what is going on? There's so many hip movements and crazy, you know, things you learn in your first week or so with jiu-jitsu. And it's a bit similar with yoga. You just feel like you're thrown in at the deep end. Even if like a beginner class, you still feel like a little overwhelmed, don't you? Because there's so much to learn. So
just the technical words, understand what is downward dog. Like, I remember I used to hate downward dog. My blood would rush from my head, and I would be like so uncomfortable. And I remember my teacher saying, "Don't worry, it will get better." And you're like, okay, when will it get better? And eventually it does, actually, right?
Yeah, eventually. Consistency, and you just get better, don't you? And like, I guess similar thing with jiu-jitsu, you know, you practice your first arm bar and you don't have a clue what you're doing, do you? But then your 10th arm bar or your 100th arm bar, it starts to get better, and you pick up more and more little tiny details each class. Like the coach might say like one fine detail in your third or fourth time repping an armbar out, and you'll be like, oh sweet, and you'll keep that. And then it's similar with a yoga class. Like I imagine, you know, when you're teaching, you cue things, don't you? And people remember those cues, or you remember a cue that your teacher said, and that completely changes like down dog for you, or whatever pose, doesn't it? So they're very similar, like learning curves, aren't they? Because you pick up so many finer details that you couldn't spend like 2 hours on down dog, could you? It'd just be too much. So I think they're very similar that way, which is interesting. Yeah.
Excellent.
Getting a kind of body awareness, isn't it? It's a very similar progression for both.
Mm-hmm. It's nice that you're picking out on those similarities. And, you know, I would say people who start yoga or start jiu-jitsu, it's difficult at the beginning, or I should say it is challenging to enjoy the sport early on, and say, why, you know, where's the benefits? You don't seem to see it, and then suddenly something happens and you become addicted to it.
Yeah.
And for yoga, I think this, and for jiu-jitsu would be the other way around. This that you know, that idea that yoga is for girls or jiu-jitsu is for men. And how do you shift that mentality? How, you know, when you meet with people or through your teaching, like, how do you think the mentality should evolve to make that shift happen?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, again, most of the people that I'm trying to get to try the yoga or jiu-jitsu guys. So yeah, I see what you mean, but it's like, I think the best thing about it is jiu-jitsu people, if you can show them why something's going to improve their jiu-jitsu, they're willing to give it a go. So we've got that, luckily, where we can say, look, you know, if you stretch your hamstrings, it's going to improve your guard retention, or, you know, if you do a pose that strengthens your shoulder stability, it might make you harder to sweep, you know, you might base better and things like that. So I think showing people what is going to improve in their jiu-jitsu game if they do yoga, and the similarities, kind of spelling out the similarities to them, really help people want to get involved. And I guess once you've just given them that experience, it's so hard to mimic and like tell them about, isn't it? You just need to get them on the mat, and then they're going to love it. But
what is an example of like a moment where you showed or explained a yoga pose to, similarity with jiu-jitsu, and you saw like the big eyes open, like a kid opening a Christmas gift? What was that wow moment or aha moment that you may have experienced you could share?
Sure. So I think for me, it always I always think back to when I first did the yoga for BJJ teacher course. I then started doing, because I teach a no-gi class at the academy I train at, and I started adding the warm-up into that. Instead of like the normal, running around like star jumps and all that warm-up, I started doing a yoga warm-up. And after the first or second one of our instructors to one of our affiliate gyms, Brian, he got up afterwards and he was like, "Oh, that was awesome! Like, I feel great." And that always, for some reason, I always think of that, because I was like, "Wow, I've passed that feeling on to someone else." So that was really good. Just to see someone else like buzzing and feeling good afterwards. Or one of our guys, we were doing one of the other classes, and he said how sore he felt after not doing the yoga warm-up from the no-gi class. And I was like, "Oh, wicked, people are enjoying it," because it's nice that people out of that class are mentioning it. So I think if you show it to enough people and they do it properly and listen, and you can deliver it in a clear way, I think they'll get on board and they'll enjoy it. So yeah, that's what I find with that.
So you said earlier, and I also had that experience myself, you start with yoga and you try it a few times, and then you just forget, you get busy, and then you go back to it because it has benefits, but you haven't have added to your kind of regular routine. What happened, or what was the catalyst for you to bring yoga as a regular practice to any sports that you're doing in the jiu-jitsu? Like what has helped you to keep up with the yoga on a regular basis?
Sure. Yeah. So I think strangely, when you don't do it, you feel why you should do it, don't you? It's almost like if you haven't done yoga for a few days, like it happens, doesn't it? Life gets in the way, you're busy or you forget or whatever. So if you haven't done like the physical practice of yoga for a few days, and you wake up and you're like, "Oh, my back," or wake up and your shoulders are sore or whatever. So I find not doing it is just a bit of a reminder to me now to like, right, just get on your mat for 10 minutes or just get in a stretch and just, get your hips moving or something like that. And I think before having the consistency, you obviously don't know that yet. So you just need to get a little bit of consistent practice, a few sessions a week for a couple of weeks. And things start to work. You start to improve a little. Like I guess, again, jiu-jitsu, if you attend a few classes for a few weeks, you might start catching a few people, you might start getting your favorite submission or whatever. But then if again, life gets in the way and you can't do it for a few weeks, you then see, "Oh, great, I'm getting caught. Nothing's working." So it definitely carries over, doesn't it? So I think if you lose the consistency, your body kind of reminds you when you wake up and you're like a bit crooked or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. Do you find the same? If your kind of consistency drops, you tend to forget?
Yeah, I do. And then you are kind of blaming yourself for not having the time. So then you think, okay, maybe I should take some supplements and some magnesium. It's gonna release the pain, or take a cold shower. But there's nothing like stretching your body. That's true.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's good.
So for someone who isn't familiar with jiu-jitsu and the benefits of yoga and how they both work, can you talk about more example of how those two actually are a puzzle that really fits in pretty good?
Sure. So like, I guess they're both so similar because, again, like I said earlier, they're both so alien when you begin. Either one, it's just, you feel like you have no coordination at first, but the body awareness you get eventually is so useful, so beneficial. And I guess just the feeling it gives as well, like you know, someone could, when you first go to like a yoga class or first start watching yoga videos, they say, you know, right leg, step your right leg on the inside, you know, in between your hands or whatever, and you're like, right, left, like, and it's awkward, doesn't it?
Right.
And eventually you pick up that body awareness, you kind of, I guess, learn that coordination. And it's a similar thing with yoga and jiu-jitsu, isn't it? They might say turn your hips to the left in jiu-jitsu, and you're at first you're like, which way do I go? But you slowly learn, and you slowly pick it up, and it just feels so great after a class when you know had a good session with your friends, you sat on the mat. It's a similar thing, isn't it? It's a bit of community as well. Whether it's, you know, with our online stuff, we've got a community, we've got people all talking, we have people commenting on the videos, Instagram and things like that. It's anything like that creates a bit of community as well. So there's definitely both aspects of that in yoga and jiu-jitsu. So people that are looking for that can definitely find that in either of them.
So it's about really being patient and enjoying the journey, as opposed to, you know, I feel like a lot of people through media or, you know, the way that society teaches that, you know, we have to accomplish goals and always do more, and always people want more. And they just look at, you know, the end goal, which might be, you know, when you look at someone who does yoga and is doing a headstand, or someone who does jiu-jitsu and you know, do a flying armbar, and you're like, oh my God, I'll never get there. So not looking at the end point, but really enjoying from the beginning, that journey, that development where you see the improvement, not just understanding the jargon, the technical aspect of it, but really let your body flow through that momentum and see the benefits, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And enjoying the process. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I completely agree there. You've got to, I guess, look far ahead, but you've got to look at all the steps it takes to get to that end goal, haven't you? So yeah, same with, like you said, doing a headstand. That could be someone's goal, but there's so many things you need to do to get kind of on point and get stability in and things before you go for something like that. And
do you abs every day? Do you abs every day?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Good call.
I think a lot of people, and I will say that's another reason why men will think, you know, yoga is for girls, because they don't see how much strength you require and how much your body becomes stronger, you know, because you involve so many muscles, not just the core and the abs, but, you know, the shoulders, all the different upper, lower back muscles and legs. And that's where I would say men start seeing the benefits more and more, right? Yeah,
definitely. And as those things strengthen, it's not just going to help you with your yoga practice either, is it? Like, as you know, it's, you know, you feel less broken if you sit down for too long, or if you sit in the car for too long and you get up. If you've been practicing yoga, you've got everything a bit stronger, a bit more stable, and you just put together better, aren't you, after you've been practicing for a while? So again, it's hard to recreate that for people that haven't done it yet, which is why we just need to get people on the mats and try it.
Would you say that your self-esteem or confidence has grew more thanks to jiu-jitsu or thanks to yoga?
I don't know. I think maybe thanks to jiu-jitsu, but maybe my jiu-jitsu wouldn't have progressed if my yoga hadn't. So yes. I guess they both flow together.
Very nice.
Yeah, I think so.
So when people do yoga, they spend, you know, this long period of time where you're on the mat, and of course you're there alone. It's not a team sport. It's you know, an inner sport where you turn inward. And when you go inward, then suddenly your mind just, you know, becomes more, I would say, predominant, where you are like more aware of your thoughts and everything what's going on. And a lot of times we hear or see, you know, pictures or different posts about yoga where people are in the pose, but they are in a complete different world, thinking about the grocery, thinking about, oh my God, this is so hard, why am I here? And especially, for example, for yoga type, which is like the Bikram, which is really hot room, and you just think of dying pretty much. How do you prevent that? Like, do you have any advice or technique that you used or maybe still using, especially when you started practicing yoga, to prevent your ego, your mind to self-sabotage and not want you to come back because it's so challenging at first?
Yeah, sure. So I think for me, focusing on breath, focusing on, like, say you're doing if it's online, maybe you've clicked on like a hamstring video or a video that works up to a pose. I always think of, remind myself of my intention for that practice, or why I'm on the mat that day, and kind of come back to that. I guess if it's hard, you'll probably think, "Ow, this is hard," and just remind yourself you'll get there, and you're getting there because you're doing it. If you think, "Oh, I can't do this. This is hard. I'm sore. My legs hurt," or my triceps are giving it, something like that, then you don't want to think that way. You just want to think, breathe, and find some I guess awareness and kind of stillness in the pose if it's a tough pose, or in the flow if it's the flow, and just go with that. I think we're very good at telling ourselves we can't do it, and we need to tell ourselves we can do it more, and why we're doing it as well.
I love that. So intention and awareness.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Very good. And how do you decode the body that you want and the body that you deserve?
Sure. So I guess we all want a certain type of body, don't we? I think lifestyle and enjoyment come into it massively. So I think hard work and consistency in things, that will get you where you want to be eventually. But I think with that, if you look at social media these days, we have this false representation of how we should all be and how we should all look. Right. I think if you're improving yourself every day and working on yourself, then you should be happy with that and where you're heading. And I guess, we all, what we want and what we deserve isn't always the same thing, but we should appreciate what we have, I think.
Very good. And so you touched on the breath, how important it is. Can you talk more about the coordination of the breath, and not just with yoga, but also with jiu-jitsu?
Sure. Yeah. So I think if you say if you're in a tough pose and you're straining your breath, that you might get out of that pose, but you might get further along the class or the flow you're doing, and you'll feel it, and you'll gas, and you'll be really suffering. Which is fine. You can just go to child's pose or a restful pose and just relax and catch up later. Whereas if you work on your breath and you're mindful of that and really thinking about it, it might keep you going. And especially, again, like we were saying, in your own head, you're going to feel better, and your yoga's going to feel better as well. It's just like in jiu-jitsu. If you're going to sweep someone and you try with everything, you hold your breath and you really try and sweep them, you might get that sweep, but guaranteed, once you've got that sweep, you've got nothing left, and that round's probably going to be over soon because you're gassed and you might get caught. Whereas if you breathe and go with the roll, and go with the technique, then you'll probably last longer. So I think breath work's massive for yoga and jiu-jitsu.
Why would you say, though, when when I think about my jiu-jitsu journey, the education about breath is very minimal. We hear Hickson talking about the invisible jiu-jitsu, and he puts a lot of attention onto the breath and how that helped him in meditation. But we don't hear that quite a lot. Even seminars are not really around the breath. It's usually something that's touched on very last. And what would you say that is, and how can we encourage more people to share that knowledge?
Sure. Yeah, I guess just educating more and more people. I mean, as you said, we don't really hear about it much. The only time I ever really hear about my breath in jiu-jitsu is if I'm competing and I'm breathing heavily. My corner was going, breathe, screaming. A bit late for that then for me. So I think, we definitely need to focus on it more. And I think if we get more people involved with yoga, I think they'll be more aware of it, because it's not something you can see, is it? If you and me worked on our forward fold for a month, we'd be inverting at training, we'd be like folding forwards, defending leg attacks quicker and things like that. And we'd just look better when people were trying to stack pass or whatever, wouldn't we? And people would see that and they go, wow, they've been doing yoga, they've been working on their forward fold, I'm going to do that. But you can't see someone like breathing, can you? You only see when they run out of breath. So I guess if someone's just got really good cardio and they just keep going, I think you don't really appreciate it as much as seeing something like a forward fold, do you? So I think that's why there's no real awareness to it, because you can't really see it. So yeah.
Interesting. And how have you developed your own practice of breathing through the learnings and the teachings?
So I think through like vinyasa flows and things like that, I found at first I couldn't get my breath on with learning everything like physically. It definitely took me a while, but I feel like as that progresses into your practice improves, because when you breathe and you flow properly, it all feels great. And it improves. It feels like it improves your movement and everything, doesn't it? And that'll carry over to your jiu-jitsu, and you remember to breathe in those tough times, because you've been breathing in those tough times in yoga. So I think that's definitely something where you're being bullied in jiu-jitsu and you're used to it from bullying yourself in yoga. So you know what I mean? You're like,
you're bullying yourself.
I'm good here, I can breathe.
Yes. And for those of the viewers and followers who don't know about vinyasa, vinyasa is a style where the yoga is very fast. So it's one breath and then one movement. That's why you need to coordinate the breath. Otherwise, you won't be able to move without that coordination.
Yeah.
Very good. So yoga helps become aware of your physical and emotional limitation. How do you know if a student is actually pushing themselves hard enough during a practice, whether it's yoga or I would say whether it's jiu-jitsu?
Okay, yeah. I think there's two types of students, isn't there? Really, you've got the like hobbyists that are fine learning a little slower, and they go maybe once, twice a week, a little less often. And you've got the really extreme people, like I guess for yoga, the people that want to progress quickly. And then for jiu-jitsu, you've got the competitors, haven't you? And I think you've got to tailor for everyone, unless it's hard, like for jiu-jitsu, a competition class, or if it's yoga, advanced class and things. That'd be different. But if it's like a general class, I think you've got to teach for all of that, so that the person that wants a bit more of a relaxed session can find that. But then the person that wants to, the MMA fighter, that she has to go 100% everything she does, strong everything, and go for it, so that they can have that session as well. So I think you need balance in your teaching, so that people have the option and they know it's there, but the more relaxed people can take that path as well. So I think it's quite a hard thing to do, isn't it? I guess if you've got competition classes, then you push everyone. Right. But yeah, I think it's just knowing in your teaching that some people can flow and some people can push that extra bit.
And then also understanding where you are at with your body, right? Because some days you'll have more energy, some days you won't. So finding that edge where you want to push yourself, but you don't want to hurt yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And it's nice to accept that, I think, because it makes it a bit more relatable, doesn't it? If you say, you can go here if you want, you can do this. I'm good here, but you can keep going. I guess to give people the option to do something safely and tell them how to. But as you said, realizing your where you are in that day. So yeah.
And so talk to us about Yoga for BJJ. Where is the brand headed in the future? Do you have anything you can share with us, or what's your vision?
So yeah, I mean, as I said earlier, we're streaming more, so we'll keep that going. That's really fun. Me and Sarah have been streaming as often as we can, which has been really good. Sarah's just released a program. She's just released the 10 for 30, which is like a new beginner program that came out, I think, yesterday or the day before. And that's basically, it's like a 30-day progressive thing. It's just 10 minutes a day, just so people can feel how good it feels.
Nice.
So that's just come out, and then we've got more programs coming soon. And when everything's back to normal, we'll be doing more teacher trainings, but in person. And in 2022, there'll be a teacher training in Mexico, and we're trying to get Yoga Alliance certified, so we can do a 200-hour course there as well. So hopefully we can get that done, and Sebastian and Stina can take everyone through a 200-hour course. That'd be so cool in Mexico.
Very nice. Well, Canadians love Mexico, so to all the Canadians listening, I'm sure this will be a great trip to attend. So keep us in the loop when that takes place.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, so let me change the subject up on you, and let's move into mindset. So being mindful and present is a way of life. You touched on in intuition and the breath. How do people with busy minds get there? Because it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to be able to do it.
Sure. So I think, people with busy minds, it is hard to slow down, isn't it? And be aware of what's going on, your surroundings, and be mindful. I guess focusing on what you want works for me. So I've got quite a busy mind and a very short attention span. So I think focusing on what I want, what I need to do to get there, and what I'm doing to get there. So why am I doing what I'm doing? How am I doing it? And I think that works for me, because otherwise you're not heading towards what you want. So if you're doing, everything you do in your day, just think about how you're doing it, what you're doing, and take your time a little more and appreciate it more. And you can find a link to getting closer to what you want. I think that works for me. So just, being aware of the present and what's going on around you.
Very good. And so on the other side of the spectrum, people who have a high drive, those MMA fighter kind of mentality, high competitors, how do they align their body to the success that they want?
Sure. So I think to kind of align their body, they need to they could look at themselves and what they need to do to improve. Because it's all very well and good looking at the top level athletes and learning from them, and you can kind of aspire to be there, but you need to look at what you need to do. So that might work for them, but you need to improve yourself. And if you go, right, next week I'm going to train twice a day every day, I'm going to do yoga in the morning, yoga in the evening, I'm going to do this, and you try and change too much at once, it won't work. You need to just slowly improve yourself, just a little bit better every day, and that I think is the way to improve. But I think when we start competing with other people too often, then you're looking out, and I guess you need to improve yourself, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love what you're saying, and it really resonates well with me, because I found that people tend to compare themselves a lot, and I have done it, and I'm pretty sure I will still do it in the future. But if I can catch myself and remind myself, stop comparing yourself, because every individual is so unique and has different capacities. So being able to shift that to your goals, and being happy where you are and where you are going, without looking too much at what somebody else does, is a key to success.
I completely agree.
So when you are down or need motivation, who do you look for, or who is your inspiration or role model that you look at?
To motivate myself? I look for motivation in everything, really. As I said, I'm always trying to lean towards what I want. So I might get motivated from Instagram or something like that, something small. Just because I guess if you follow a few negative things or toxic things online, then you might think that way. But if you follow successful things or things you're interested in, then naturally that's going to motivate you, and then everything around you should motivate you, because surrounding yourself in, I guess, like the positivity. So I guess I don't really like search for it. I just try and have it around me almost. And yeah, so anything I do, I try and find motivation in, really. I mean, I could go to the gym and see someone I don't even know doing something cool or like really pushing it, and that'll motivate me. Like, oh, I should do that. You know, like, why aren't I doing that? Things like that. That motivates me. So yeah.
And that's how I felt when I saw you post this morning on your Instagram. And for everybody who wants to follow Adam, his Instagram channel is at Adam Ellis BJJ. And I love the picture. And, you know, I think that's also the glass overflowing. When you look for positivity, the positivity fills you up, and then you want to share positivity. And that's what you're sharing in your Instagram posts.
Ah, good. Thank you. Good.
Yeah. So what would you say someone, you know, especially in those times of pandemic, what can they do to, you know, help with their emotional state? I don't like to say mental state, and you know, mental may have some negative connotation. It's more like a label, but like to improve the brain and you know, your emotions, and controlling when you feel down or sad, or when, you know, you don't have the emotions that uplift you.
Sure. Yeah. So for me, I'm quite an open book. I'm quite an honest person. So the way I work on that kind of thing is, I just, like, everyone around me usually knows how I feel, and I think if you've got you know, good people around you, they will care about that, and you can share your emotions with them. You know, your family, your partner, or your friends. If you talk to people about things, then you're going to feel better, because they can talk you through things, or they can open up to you as well. And if you open up to more people, especially men, you know, we're way past the era of like, I'm a strong man, I don't talk about things. Although some of us are still there, but like, the more of us that talk about things and open up, the more that goes away, and then people begin to feel better, and everyone's just honest, and you know where people are and how they're feeling. So especially at the moment, there's a lot of people on their own, I guess, and if you open up to them, they'll open up to you, and we'll all feel better. So I think that
support one another, basically.
Yeah,
and communicate. And I will say some individual may have a harder time to open, because they feel that they are being judged. So maybe journaling, right? And taking those emotions out of your body and putting them on paper. So it's like kind of washing them away from you.
Yeah. That's I mean, that's something I've never got myself involved in, but I know that people have huge benefits from that. They're just getting things out there, and just recording how they feel. Even if you're not going to show anyone, just for you to get it out there. Yeah, I think it definitely sounds like something that's beneficial. I've never got myself involved in it, to be honest, yet.
So anyone who has emotions or things to share, they should contact you and and say, hey, Adam, I know you don't know me, but I'd love to have a chat.
We do this again, there'll be loads of us.
Very good. And do you stream jiu-jitsu classes, or do you just stream the yoga classes for now?
At the moment, just the yoga for BJJ classes. My instructor, he's got a few of the other instructors, and they're just teaching Zoom classes for everyone, which is cool, like dummy Zoom classes. And yeah, so I'm doing the yoga for BJJ classes too, and some other, I guess, private things with yoga.
So how has the pandemic changed your view on teaching, right? Like what has been your biggest learning, would you say, or realization of something that maybe felt, you know, limited now is limitless because of technology? How has that experience been for you?
Sorry, for learning or for teaching?
Both.
Oh, okay. I think I've used my time better. Like I did an anatomy course, yoga anatomy course with Tiffany Cruikshank, and it was good to take the time with that. Whereas before, I probably would have rushed through it. It was nice to just get through it in my own time and pick it up. I mean, it's definitely something I want to go through again, because there's so much to learn about the body. Just, I guess, taking more time, as I said before, I rush around a lot. I've got a short attention span, so I can rush things. But it's been nice to take a little more time for things like that. And online as well, you know how you learn best and where you learn best. You know, if sitting in the front room, you pick something up quicker, or if you're learning something, you know, that you can sit and do, you can do that. Or if you sit at the table, or go to a coffee shop and sit on your own with a coffee, just things like that people probably wouldn't have used before, because I feel like everyone has slowed down a little bit. So yeah, and with jiu-jitsu, I've not really got too involved in the dummy training, the dummy classes and things, but I know that for a lot of the new guys, it's been good for them to just drill techniques and go over techniques over and over on something like a dummy, whereas before they wouldn't have had the dummy, they would only have been getting those hours in training. So I think that helped other people too.
Very good. So let's jump into rapid fire questions. Those are our favorite questions of our followers. And we have just a couple of minutes left. So very excited to go on to those. And you can just, say in a short way the answer, or you can elaborate a little bit more, whatever you feel like, okay? So do you have an entrance song?
Yes, Giant by Rag and Bone Man. One of my good friends recommended it when I first competed on a submission only show with music. I'm tall, he said you should have Giant, so I did, and I've kept it.
And you kept it. Okay, very good. Do you find it's boosting your energy before competing?
Yeah, definitely. If I hear it in the car, I'm buzzing. So yes. It's good.
So self hypnosis, basically. Now it became an anchor. That's awesome. All right.
I did some mind coach stuff with one of my friends a while ago, and I've kind of used that song as well, so it does have a good feeling when I listen to it.
Nice. Very good. Do you have a morning routine? And if yes, how does it look like?
So I wake up, obviously, like we all do, and then usually coffee, get some breakfast, and I'll usually grab my laptop, check the message service we've got on Yoga for BJJ, and just get in some stretches and start to not really like a flow or a practice, just start stretching, because I normally wake up and I'm feeling a bit sore, so just get the rust off almost.
So it's very common actually for, and I think it's for everybody, when you sleep, your body tightens up, right? So if anybody could have a little stretch in the morning, right, as a morning routine, what kind of stretches, what kind of yoga poses, like maybe 3, 4, 5 max, what would be the top 5, let's say, poses that you would suggest anybody a must do in the morning, for example?
So for me, it would be pigeon. I love just getting into pigeon. It doesn't have to be super deep or anything, but my hips are just, they need it. And then usually, something like, I guess, hero as well. Just, get everything nice and like moving. I'll grab my jiu-jitsu belt as well and do some shoulder stretches and stuff. Just literally belt up in the air and then back and just get everything.
Yeah, shoulder rolls. Nice.
Yeah. And then just a combination of things. I like to get to like almost like a 90-90 as well, and just flow from side to side, just get in my hips.
Scissor legs.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. And things like forward folds as well. Just get everything awake, get everything moving. And I love Sphinx as well. Just sitting in Sphinx on the laptop. Just always
Yes, so lifting the chest up.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
What about you? Do you do many stretches in the morning?
I try to. And I also like to alternate. So when on the days that I don't stretch, I use, I have a little sequence on a foam roller. I find that going deep into, some of the places where you can go on your own is very helpful.
Good, yeah, get a bit of release there,
Yes,
good.
So I have that long roller, and it's actually really hard. So it's pretty much like a deep tissue, especially after training. I find it's a must. Like I really have to use the foam roller on days that I can alternate between the stretches.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I love a foam roller. They're pretty sore when you first start using them, but as you said, that
but
really
even after using them a long time, they're still so I find. Unless you use a soft one, of course.
Yeah.
The other thing is the balls, right? If you don't have a foam roller and use like a
lacrosse ball or
a yoga therapeutic ball, those are good too. I don't know if you teach with those.
No.
Yeah.
Do you?
I do. I do some techniques for stretching the neck with a yoga ball, which are really good. And again, sometimes you can get to those places just by stretching or turning or circling the head. But then if you use one or two balls and you can just turn, and you don't have to go far, you can just go very soft. It really helps stretch the neck, because the neck is, of course, one of the muscles that gets really sore after jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I really like some of the releases you can get with the balls and things. Like the anatomy course I did. After each section, they'd have like a release class where you just lay on the balls in different areas just to kind of palpate things as well and feel where things are, and then get on the balls. So that was really good. Felt amazing afterwards. So I'd definitely like to use them more.
Very nice.
Yeah.
If you could study a new subject with an expert in the world, who would that be and why? So what would be the new subject and who would be the expert and why?
So so I think if I was to learn anything with an expert, it would have to be David Attenborough. He's amazing. So just to go on anything, safari or looking at sea animals with him, because I mean the way he delivers it all and the way he is, I think it's amazing. So him, I love nature, I love the seas and things, and he is the guy to learn off of things like that, isn't he? So just a holiday with David Attenborough, I think. Yeah.
I love it. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
The little voice inside me that tells me I can't do it sometimes. I think just not completely switch it off, but just maybe ask it to keep it down a little bit sometimes. Befriend
the voice.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, very nice. And I think that's one thing that yoga taught me, is really to be able to quiet down that voice, and instead of beating that voice down and say, quiet down, just say, I know you're there. I know you're there. I hear you, but I'm in control. It's not you.
Yeah. Good way of putting it. Yeah.
Very good. Next question. If you could have one billboard anywhere in the world, what would you write on it and where would you place it?
Okay. So it's a bit of a joke with me and my friends. Whenever I go out, I always get people come up and approach me and ask me how tall I am.
Okay.
So I would have my height on a billboard above me, I think. Just so that I don't have to have the awkward conversation with some people, because it's funny sometimes people will come over and ask and not realise that they've just come over and been like, how tall are you? So I think that, yeah.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'9".
Sorry, how much?
6'9".
Oh, 6'9". Okay. Yeah. Wow. I'll be looking at you. I'm 5'3".
That's it. Yeah. So sometimes when we're out and about, people would just come over and ask. So I think if I could have a billboard,
then you won't have to say it. And where would you put it?
I don't know. Just carry it around, maybe a big billboard. Strengthen the shoulders.
Very nice. What are the 3 most important values in your life, and how do they link to beauty and longevity?
Okay. So family, experience, and fun. So, and all together, I guess, you've got to experience everything. You've got to somehow enjoy it all as well. And obviously with the people you want to enjoy it with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the whole point, isn't it?
Yeah. Very good. And it's true, when you are surrounded, like you said earlier, with good people, ultimately, it influences your body and your well-being. So very good.
Yeah.
Choose your surrounding wisely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
If you had any superpower, what would it be?
I love this question. So I would have mind control, I think.
Mind control.
Yeah, because then you get a lot of superpowers with that. So if in a superpower world, you could make people think, I guess, you were stronger or invisible or anything like that. So I feel like there's a few superpowers within that, because you could make people think things.
So when you say mind power, is it that you will be able to read people's mind or control their mind?
I guess control them, yeah, make them think something. So if it was a superhero world, the bad guys, I could make them think I'm stronger than them and save everyone or whatever. Yeah.
What would your costume look like?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe a jiu-jitsu gi. They're cool. Yeah, they're good. And then I guess you could then choke the bad guys out with your gi as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Adam, for being so generous with your time today. I really appreciate it. We've tried to set this interview for a long time, so I'm glad that we made it happen for everybody who is here today and will be listening to this in the future. I really enjoyed this time we spent together. This will be put on my YouTube channel, Jiu-Jitsu Yoga, as I mentioned. And please, everyone, share with your friends, pass the word, yoga for BJJ. This has been, a tremendous improvement for a lot of people who use it. Athletes, BJJ practitioner, male, female, have, praised the benefits and how great your programs are. So that's definitely, so good to hear from you, from your experience and expertise. And also for everyone, if you have any suggestion on future guests who you would like me to bring here, any feedback on how to improve your experience, let me know. You can write me directly, find me on Instagram at Jiu-Jitsu Yoga. And for anyone who would like to stay in touch or reach out to you, Adam, where can they find you?
So Instagram, as you said, Adam Ellis BJJ, and Facebook as well. And I think Twitter, but I don't check it very often. So Instagram or Facebook.
What's the Twitter handle?
I think it's Adam Ellis BJJ as well. Okay, perfect. If it is, that's tidy of me. I think it is.
Okay. I don't have Twitter, so I don't know, but definitely IG and Facebook, right?
Yes, yeah.
So I want to acknowledge you, Adam, for stepping in and showing up as a leader, as a role model for the community, not just the jiu-jitsu, but yoga, and being such an inspiration of all your accomplishments. And as you said, being able to quiet down that voice and not say, I can't do it, or not follow that voice, I can't do it, right? Just really shifting and staying true to your intention, and using the breath and keep learning and being such a great learner and sharing from such a deep passion. So really thank you for that. And if there's anything I can take away today, is I love your superpower. I think being able to have mind control is great, and I think people should use that and build on their own superpower, because we have more powers than we truly know, and using the breath to get there is actually a game changer. Is there any last final closing words you'd like to share?
Just a massive thank you to you and your listeners and followers. Thank you for having me on. Thanks for being patient as well. I know, as you said, it's taken us a while to get this sorted. So, thank you to, I guess, everyone in the community that's kind of given me a follow, and the kind words they give. Even at the end of, like, if someone's done one of my classes online, I get like really nice comments from people, or emails or messages from people saying they've enjoyed it or whatever. That makes my day sometimes when I read them. So just thanks to everyone for the positivity, especially this year, because it's been a mad one for everyone. And just thank you. Thanks for having me on. It's been really fun. I'd like to do it again. Good fun.
Yes, definitely. And Merry Christmas to everyone in UK. I love the Christmas spirit already in your house. That's beautiful. And yeah, so we'll share this recording, and I can't wait to have you more, and maybe welcome you in one of the Jiu-Jitsu academies here for some training in the new year. Would love to have you. You know, definitely not the winter because I know you don't like it, but in the summer, it's a great time in Canada.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, Canada looks beautiful. I'd love to get some training in over there. So yeah, when I'm over there, I'll have to come and get involved. Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you, Adam. Thank you,
Thank you very
everyone.
much. Merry Christmas
Have a
to
great
you as
day.
well.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.